Hello again and welcome to episode 13 of GoK Q&A, our weekly roundtable discussion podcast where we tackle the hard and sometimes offensive issues that society won't. Each member brings their questions to the table and we do our best to answer them. If you'd like to be a part of the show, please email us your questions to gokqanda@gmail.com. That's gokquanda@gmail.com. I'm your host, Govinda Whitehurst, and sitting across from me, as always, the lowest to my Clark, Mr. Kale Adam.
Yeah! Go, K!
What the fuck was that? That was unexpected. Unexpected, to say the least.
I was going to quote Turn Down for What lyrics, and I thought I'd just do some shameless self-promotion.
Look, I'd like to start this off with a sincere apology to all the hard fans, rock solid, erect fans that we let down last week when an episode didn't go up.
Look, we've done 40 episodes between the two podcasts without a hitch. Last week. It was last week.
It was last week.
Look, it was just a comedy of errors. We have a gardener.
I actually like to think Kale jinxed the whole production.
I actually did.
That morning, he was like, it's crazy we've never missed an episode. And then that afternoon, we just went, well, we're not recording today.
We left it a bit too late, and then the gardener started mowing, and it was just unacceptable noise interruption. Yeah,
and then we were going to continue off that episode, and then decided that we don't want to.
Due to some issues that will not be discussed here.
Yeah. We don't need to go into that.
No.
But we're back again.
We are.
Just us. Get used to it, because apparently it's not as fun to be on a podcast as we thought.
No, the initial rush is over.
It's just us. But I feel like we have a pretty rock-solid episode coming up.
Yep. Things are going to get heated.
I think maybe... we'll go into it first. Let's just put it out there. We're going to talk about Batman vs. Superman.
It's going to be full spoilers, and we're going to
ruin a bunch of shit.
It's only been out for 3 days, so that's not great.
So I reckon if you don't want to hear the spoilers, maybe... Do we want to do this at the end?
Yeah, it's probably not a bad idea, just so then...
Because then they can just stop listening to the episode.
Yeah, that's
and then have to try and skip through. So maybe let's save this for the end.
Okay.
Alright, so we're going to do Batman Superman, but we're going to leave it for the very last thing. And then that way, if you want to listen, you can. If not, you can get fucked.
Oh, shit.
No, like I said it to my bros, like, hey, Kyle, get fucked, man.
You're like, just go fuck yourself, or have someone else do it for you.
I'm gonna let you lead off this week.
Okay.
Because I don't even remember what mine was. I'm actually panicking.
It was going to be your experiences this week.
Oh, no, yeah, it was very subtle, actually.
Very subtle.
Do you want me to start, or do you want to start?
Yeah, let's actually go with that.
Let's go into it, because it was really good. So, this week, I went to a music festival for a night called Blues Fest.
A blues festival.
Which is ironic, because I saw Kendrick Lamar there.
Well, who's he? Was he the Green Power Ranger?
No, he was the black one.
Ah.
Oh, well, I didn't even mean that. That was accidental.
I feel
so I wanted to ask you, what is the best show you've ever seen? Because for me, it was Kendrick Lamar 3 nights ago at this blues festival.
Why?
I've never been in a crowd that was going so nuts.
Okay.
Like, Kendrick Lamar is a showman.
Is he a showman?
He has evolved from a rapper into a showman.
Okay.
And so he starts off his set. People are just... It was so hectic in this tent that an organizer had to come out and be like, all right, nothing's happening until everyone in this tent takes 2 steps back.
Oh, wow.
Because I can only assume people that were at the front were dying.
Yeah, wow.
Like, we're actually getting crushed to death.
Oh.
So he forced everyone to keep taking a few steps back. And then when Kendrick finally came on, he was just like teasing the crowd, and they were just getting louder and louder until it was like deafening noise in this tent. Because he'd walk up to the mic and then put his hand up and be like, no, not yet, and turn around. And then he comes back and he does it again, and people are just fucking flipping out.
He could have had anyone in that crowd.
Literally,
anyone.
He could have incited like the biggest riot if he really wanted to. And so he comes, and then when he finally starts, all he does is just go, "This dick ain't free," and it's like one of the songs on the new album, if you're not familiar. And it was like people were just fucking losing it. And this show got so hectic and hot under this tent that it started condensing on the ceiling and then raining inside the tent.
Wow.
Because it was just popping off that hot. It was shit hot.
That's fucking pretty turnt.
It was fucking turnt. Shit was on fleek.
It was on fleek. I'm not very familiar with Kendrick. Mr. Lamar, did you say his name was?
It's actually King Kendrick. If you're gonna,
is this the King Kunta that I've heard?
This is the King Kunta.
Okay, I have heard of this man.
But it was just crazy. Every song was nuts.
Okay,
it was just popping off for hours.
Does he have?
I may have been on drugs.
Well, I assume so.
We can actually talk about that too.
Go on. It's all out there.
I've got a bunch of drugs in my car. We're driving up. We're camping there for a night. And as we pull up to the car checkpoint to get like your tickets and camping sorted, there's like maybe 20 police and like 5-6 dogs just cruising around.
How quickly did you shove pills up your anus?
No, I didn't. So thank you to an undisclosed source that we are very familiar with. I'll say thanks to him later. I had a little thing called a stink sack.
What?
I didn't know what it was. He just gave it to me when I acquired some substances, and it's apparently like a stink-proof bag that you can buy at like dispensaries and shit.
Yeah.
So that we had it all on that. I'd actually hidden it in one of the front seats.
Yeah.
Like there's plastic on the back of the front seat, and it was behind the plastic in this little stink sack. But I'm flipping out.
Oh, I would be too.
Like sweating bullets.
I would be too.
And we pull up, and the volunteer there who's checking tickets is like, hey, just do you have any Eskies or any coolers or something in the back? And me flipping out, look up and go, no, thank you.
Oh,
like just losing.
That is just like...
I was trying to think of a good way to make a meme about that because it was too funny.
Yeah, it's pretty out.
And so he's doing that. I'm just kind of melting. So I start moving before I've even gotten my ticket. And they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, sorry. Like just fucking melting.
Who's in the car? No,
just me in Montana.
Oh, interesting.
And
I was
it's written all over my face. Like, I have drugs in the car.
Leave me alone.
So he's given us our tickets and our things we got to fill out for camping. And then our police officer walks up to the door and he's like, if you could just open your 2 front doors, thank you.
Yeah.
And open the front doors. And the dog
just break out in tears.
The cutest little black Labrador just pops its head in and just starts sniffing around, and I'm shitting my pants.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Couldn't handle the stress. I thought I was going to fucking have heart failure or something.
See, I just couldn't take that risk. I couldn't handle that pressure.
You couldn't.
I'm
telling you couldn't.
Actually, you know what? I'll take that back. I've been buckled out of my skull, stoned high on the weed, just blazed, chuffed and gone, all at once.
Cooked.
Yep. And I was driving home.
Toasted.
I was quite young. We'd gone to a little park and we'd blazed a pot brownie out of a bong, and we were feeling it, actually.
That's actually not how that works.
We were actually really feeling it.
I don't even think you were high if you did that.
And we drove around the corner to go home, and of course got pulled over by the police. I'm just like eyes red as the devil's dick. And there were 2 guys in the back seat. Both of them had big bags of weed on them, and the car must have just reeked of weed. And the cop came up and just like started chatting to us, and I like could barely get words out, but somehow managed to carry a conversation. And I actually felt like I dealt with that pretty well. Like he left, he just didn't even say anything. I know he had to have at least smelt it.
I'm surprised because if they smell it, they'll search your car.
And they would have called. At least I didn't have anything on me. It would have been the other guys.
But anyway, on that side note, fucking best show
ever.
Like,
best ever.
So good.
How many people were rolling their faces? And did you have a molly?
I may have.
Did you
dabbled
have
in the disco biscuit.
One of those molly...
Disket. The ding-dings, as I like to call them. Ding, 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 ding.
Oh.
Which actually transfers perfectly into Batman vs. Superman later this episode.
Oh, yeah. Look out for that.
When, for some reason, a character is doing this at the end. Ding, 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 which makes no
spoilers, dude.
sense.
We're keeping it spoiler free.
Nah, that no one knows who that was. If you haven't seen it, off.
So for any more about Lamar, Mr. Lamar?
It was just nuts. Like people were coming out of the center of the pit, as I'm going to call it, and there was a train of like 15 people, and they were soaking wet in what
Yeah.
I can only assume is their
Semen.
sweat and everyone else's semen.
At least semen.
Heaps of it.
Just
And I have this weird moment where, like, I'm kind of having some fun on my ding-dings, and at the very end of this sweat train is just one dude, and I look at him, and we make eye contact, and without saying a word, we go...
You make out.
without saying a word, we're like, we know each other.
Ah.
Like, he's a regular that comes into work.
Oh, so
But, like,
funny.
we just didn't say anything. We just looked and we were like... And then he left. I did a little salute sign for those of you who are not watching this audio-only podcast.
It's very audio.
And it was just a
only.
really weird moment of that. And then I thought I was just freaking out, and I was like, is it raining in here? Like, what is happening? Like, I feel raindrops, but I'm under a tent. Obviously, it's not raining.
Yeah.
But then I'm looking up at the big screen next to the stage, and I was like, it looks like it's raining on there. And I didn't want to tell anyone because I thought I just sounded like a psycho.
Yeah.
But then, right near the end of the set, and maybe like just before the encore, the house lights came up, and I looked at the ceiling and just went, oh my
shit.
God. And it was literally just condensing, and you could see it pouring down the sides and just dropping. And it literally looked like it was like raining in this tent.
Wow.
It was crazy.
That is pretty extreme.
It was cool though. Like it was pretty fucking wild.
I'm trying to think of my best concert. I think like it's a very low key one and nothing like that at all. But I think like when we just out of nowhere saw Portugal the Man in Brisbane.
I wasn't there.
Oh, you weren't there for
I was
that?
at Stradbroke.
Oh, you actually weren't there for that.
I heard it was very fun though. Free show.
Yeah.
That show's a
It
free
was
show.
outrageous. It was just at a pub. It was at like 3 or 4 in the afternoon, like super early. I'd never heard of the band before. And like after seeing them, they played all of their newest album. And I just couldn't stop listening to it for months.
It is good.
They were like...
If you haven't listened to Portugal the Man, do it.
Check it out. What is it? Evil Friends?
Evil Friends. I think that it was produced by Danger Mouse.
Ooh, maybe that's why. I couldn't like describe... I was trying to describe it to people. Like they were just the coolest band. Like without being like pretentious or douchebaggy, they were just super cool guys.
Yeah.
They're all from Alaska, I think. The bass player was a fucking legend. I think the keyboardist was on acid or something. Keyboardist. He like wandered off stage. or
Yeah,
something.
it always helps when they're cool. Because
Yeah.
when I explained Kendrick to people, I was like, because I've seen Kanye at a concert,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it was actually like an amazing show.
All right.
Like he too is a showman, but there's just like Kendrick's humble.
Yeah.
Like he was thanking everyone. He was like, like in this industry, no one can make an album like this on their second try. Like it's just not. They don't let you do it. And
Yeah.
because of you guys, like I could do it, and like thanking everyone. It's like we're all family, all this shit. And you go to like Kanye concert, and he acts as if his shit don't stink, and that everyone's just lucky to be in his fucking
That he is a
presence,
god.
and that he is a god. And you kind of like, you're a fuckhead, dude.
Yeah, you're kind of an asshole.
Whereas,
And
like-
I've seen your wife's bits, so
Who hasn't?
what are you going to do?
And she's not that hot, dude.
Oh, she is.
She's short and not that hot.
She's like a hobbit.
She's like a fucking hobbit, dude. Got them hairy feet. Them giant hairy feet.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Do you remember The Faint?
I vaguely remember
That
little
was-
bits of the faint.
Yeah, I don't know whether it was just we were royally drunk.
I don't think I've ever been that drunk.
Yeah, I was very loose.
I remember one. If you're not familiar with the Faint, it's a band that was on Saddle Creek Records.
Huge back in
Huge back in our emotional days.
in the late 90s, early noughties.
early noughties.
Yeah.
Late 90s is a bit
Yeah,
earlier.
maybe 2003.
2003 to 2006.
So
7.
long ago.
But it was just like some electronic band. And
Yep.
I just remember they had that album and the song was The Geeks Were Right.
Yep.
And I just remember talking to my brother at the back of the show.
Yep.
And then just hearing the lead singer go, "This is for all the geeks out there." And I just fucking went,
Threw your shirt off and ran to
losing
the
my
front.
shit.
And the-
that was a great show.
And the front man was dressed as a mad scientist with like a lab coat and those huge goggles.
yeah.
And my best memory of that was like me and friend of the show Ryan Cornelius just kind of like bopping around in the crowd, just being like wasted. And I sort of like shoved him a little bit. We were trying to like do a little